So, like I said, all I can do is read you the scriptures that prove Satan was in Eden, right? Over and over again. And the first one is in chapter 2. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Itself. Mm-hmm. 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 When God tells you the location of the tree of life, but not where the tree of the knowledge of good and evil is, right? Itself, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, in verse 8, we read, "And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed, and out of the ground made the Lord God to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. Mm-hmm. The tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil also. Right? That's the first mention of Satan. Warning you. What he would teach you is good and evil. Right? And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, "Of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die." And then he made the woman from him by bone and flesh and excess spirit. Right. Where's the residue? Which means extra, I know. Alright. Then verse 22. "And the Lord God said, Behold, the man is become as one of us to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. Therefore the Lord God sent him forth from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from whence he was taken." So that makes the earth his mother too, you dumbass Christians. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubim, angels, and a flaming sword, which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. Now the cherubim are how many? 2. One is still the tree of life. The other is still the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Do you not understand that? How are they guarding us from the tree of life? One wants you to die and judge each other for following him. The other is trying to teach you to forgive each other and repent. And the true life source, which is the spirit, right? And it's not a tree or... It's just the source of life, right? But the tree of life is also the cherub that is following God, not the one that's following itself. By the way. Now go to... The story of Noah. There's a reason, there's a reason. Okay. Chapter 9, verse 9. And I, behold, I establish my covenant with you and with your seed after you. Now, Christ is the seed of a woman who knew no man. And you've been lied to by the Satan Constantine. He is the enemy of the church. He never really wanted to become a Christian when he found out the secret doctrines of the Gnostic group. But they weren't secret anymore. I know. So when you have sex with the woman, you're feeding her your seed. When you ejaculate inside of her, your sperm go out and join with her egg. And 9 months later, out comes a son or a daughter, like with Adam and Eve before the fall. Except now, because Satan also got pregnant by Adam, it hurts to have a child. Because he was a hermaphrodite. And this makes perfect sense unless you're devoid of all reason. Like Satan himself. Now, go to verse 11. All right. You tempt the Lord our God. You tempt the Lord your God. So again, verse 7. Go to, let us, who the angels, go down and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth. And from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of the earth. Do you understand? The us here is the same us used as in chapter 1 too. Right? Let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Not after the fall, but before the fall, when the woman was still in him. No. That's where you're getting confused. So you got to visualize this. What Moses is actually saying. You got to see with your imagination, yes. But it's pretty clear what Moses is saying, right? The woman was in the man, making him both, right? And removed from him, making them two, for reproductive purposes, and they became one flesh. I know. Now that should be enough, even with just Genesis alone. But no, not with you. So now let's go to Deuteronomy. I'm skipping a few things, right, for time's sake. Right. Oh, I'm as the master to show you, but not the master to show you. Is that what you're saying? Only the master can show you? If you will not hear the servant, why would you want to hear the master? Because all he can do is tell you the same thing I'm telling you. If you can't hear it from a prophet, and Jesus is androgynous, not male or female, he's not going to change his gender for you. He is the Lord. He changeth not. What part of that don't you understand? We were changed from the image of God into the male and female form to reproduce. Right? We're no longer in that image then. Yet Jesus is always that image. In fact, the male and female come from him in the transfiguration or the transformation. To translate it accurately, yes. The metamorphation, right? Means to become more than one person, right? And they have to go back into him, right? They come out of him and go back into him alone, right? Satan hates the image of God, right? For he loves the image of males over the females and the hermaphrodites, right? Now, 28 verse 4. Blessed shall be the fruit, F-R-U-I-T, of thy or your body. Like a fruit tree, you produce fruit. Right. And the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kind, which is another kind of animal, and the flocks of thy sheep, blessed shall be thy basket and thy store. Blessed shall thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shall thou be when thou goest out. The Lord shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. They shall come out against thee one way and flee before thee 7 ways. The Lord shall